that we are grounded, and of course it's really, really important that we are grounded via our feet during our asana. Being really grounded through the feet means that we start to practice yoga from a nice solid base. But being grounded can also mean being grounded in here, in the soul, in the heart, in the body, in the mind. So we have to think of being grounded in an all-round way, in a holistic way. So if we were maybe sitting to do some asana work, or we were going to do a very mat-based work, we should still seek to be nicely grounded through those sit bones, that nice connection through to Mother Earth, through to the soil beneath you, creating a really found, sound place to work from. Bringing that awareness through to ground that lower base chakra. And again, when we talk about chakras during the yoga and during our practice, we will come back and again to chakras, because chakras and that side of the yogic experience is all part of Hatha Yoga. And so we'll talk about chakras, we'll talk about mudras, we'll talk about bandhas within the whole class setting. So to feel nicely grounded through that root chakra, if you like, that chakra, that energy centre at the base of the spine, that lovely centre that connects us down through to Mother Earth. So bringing that awareness to that lower base, between the legs or at the base of the spine, the low, and when we associate this lower chakra or chakra, which means wheel in Sanskrit, so you kind of get the idea that it's a wheel of energy that's swirling, if you like, or turning. Okay, so it can turn either way, I guess, clockwise or anti-clockwise. And I'll get really enthusiastic when I talk about energy and chakras, because that's where I started from, and so it's one of my babies, about being at one with the energy, especially with the energy of Mother Earth. So I digress, but to feel and to start your practice always from a nice grounded point of view, or a nice feeling of being centered and grounded through, either through that lower base chakra, with that nice connection here through to the universe, or even if we're in, for example, downward facing dog, still to feel grounded through the hands and the feet. So to ground ourselves fully, we need to make that lovely connection. We need to make the connection in our heart as well as in our body and our senses, of course. So finding that way to ground ourselves, placing the hands firmly down, you know, nice and firm, to make a lovely connection through, and bringing those fingers into being and placing them down one at a time here to feel nice and solid with the hands when we work with any of the asanas that require our hands to be firmly placed on the mat. Or if you're outside, on the grass, which is even better. So to think always about our energy as well during our practice and being nicely grounded. So when we make a nice solid base with either our sit bones or our lower chakra or our hands, placing them down, or our feet connecting firmly with the mat, bringing that awareness to being solid and working from that place of safety. Because when you're solid and grounded, you actually are working from a nice point of view of being nicely solid and grounded and being balanced as well. You know, when we have days when we are totally off balance and we say, oh God, today I can't balance at all. You know, maybe it was something we did yesterday, or maybe it's something we have on our mind, or maybe we have a hurt or a pain, and it throws us off balance, so we're not particularly grounded on that day. And I would say for those times when we don't feel particularly grounded, then be gentle with yourself. Maybe lie on the floor, maybe lay in Shavasana. Being grounded in Shavasana is an amazing experience in allowing yourself to seek that nice feeling of being held by the earth beneath you in the long line of Shavasana, or laying here in sometimes called corpse pose, which I always think is a little creepy, but just laying there, just feeling nicely supported at every point on your body and being aware of that groundedness or those points of contact with the mat. So really, when we think about groundedness, perhaps we should talk about points of contact and how we feel supported there. So, of course, to be really grounded with feet, we bring the feet into an active feeling of being centered here. We can find where our feet are nicely grounded on the mat here. We can sense where we place that awareness of that feeling of, yes, I'm nice and solid on the earth here. During your course, you'll find that you have a little quiz about how important our feet are within our yogic experience as well. So that's just something to look out with in your theory, in the school. So bringing our awareness, even to our heels and our toes, just experimenting. How does it feel when we strike down with the heel and when we walk, when we flex, and when we think about how many points we have on the foot and the zones of the feet that corresponds with the rest of the body. If you're interested in reflexology, you know that when we place our feet, that certain points, and the same with the hands, are, massaged, engaged, if you like, into a well-being that spreads throughout the whole body. So when we walk, each time we walk barefoot outside or anywhere, we are stimulating those points on the feet. So, just to really work for a while with your understanding of how important your feet are and to give them some love and some attention. So when we begin to decide to be nice and grounded before we start practice, maybe from the mat, as I've said, or maybe from another posture, could even be against the wall, okay? So to find that nice, we can place the toes nicely down one at a time, which I find so difficult, but I find if I start to do my fingers at the same time, sometimes my toes can then be placed nicely down on the mat to spread the toes for the even weight, to find out where it feels right, to have that space here too. Sometimes, you will be encouraged to bring your feet together and you'll have just a small space there. For me, I have to find the balance point with my kind of weight through the centre here, but my feet slightly apart. And that's my personal preference. But you have to, again, decide where you feel really grounded. How does it feel for you if you bring your feet together? Do you feel nicely grounded here? Is that more comfortable for you than the way I have to feel grounded through here with my feet kind of hip width apart? So just some things to think about here to really bring your attention to when you're explaining to your class about being grounded and working with the postures from a nice grounded perspective. Thinking about how you're going to explain that. Which 3 points of the foot are touching the mat? Are your arches lifted or are they flat? We could talk about feet for many lessons, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to talk about being grounded. So thinking about the arches of your feet as well. Are they lifted? Where's the weight? Have you got weight over one side more than the other? Are you impacting one hip more than the other? Really, really thinking about and spending time in this mountain posture here in Tadasana to become really grounded through that with the feet. Imagining maybe those roots going deeply, deeply down into Mother Earth to connect you to that amazing soil and that amazing experience, that lovely energy beneath you. 6 inches of soil and everything grows from that. So really think about connecting yourself down there to suck up that lovely idea of that lovely growth, that lovely energy from Mother Earth. And when you have the feet and the hands connected in perhaps downward facing dog, or maybe even in a forward fold, maybe you want to connect the hands too. Think about how powerful it is if you're feeling really, really connected through there with these 4 amazing points of your body here. And as I've just said earlier, and just to recap, that we can feel grounded through many points of our body. We can become more grounded if we sit back against the wall, because we have suddenly find a nice stable point here to feel grounded. So we can utilize that idea of the lower base chakra to ground us, whether we're standing or sitting, or whichever posture we're in. We can use the idea of the energy to also ground us through there and down into Mother Earth. So the feet, the hands, the points of the body that touch the mat can all be your grounding points, can all be the idea of sucking up that energy from beneath, from Mother Earth. And also to utilize the idea of the chakras or the lower base chakra also to bring in an awareness through there, to ground you down to Mother Earth, but to also initiate a reaction of bringing through that lovely energy from Mother Earth to enliven you, to ground you, to make you feel good, to bring that lovely red energy, because the lower base is connected to the lower chakra, so the root chakra. So to think about those earthy colours or nice reds, browns, just really sucking it up through into that lower base, being grounded in more than one particular way. But do think about how important your feet are and how you position your feet, how you walk, how you connect, and how you are massaging all of those amazing points on the feet and the hands, as in a reflexology way, and stimulating the zones of the body, the 10 zones of the body. And think about it like through your whole body, from your feet up and down, those lovely zones. And think about the organs that run along those zones. So if you bring your feet together, or your hands together, if you bring your big toes together, think about this as, one zone, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 10 zones that run all the way up and through the body, okay? All the way. To think about what those zones encompass, what organs they encompass within, the systems within. So it's deep, okay? So that's all for this video. Thank you very much. I'll be back soon with video 4. Namaste.